Hi everyone, my name is Donnie Lowy from Closeout Hope you're doing well today. Today I'd like to discuss with you how to profit from a fashion trend. Now, a fashion trend is basically a time when people are very excited about a certain style, and you'll start seeing many people wearing clothing or shoes or accessories with that style. Sometimes styles start because of cultural reasons, because of a sports-related reason. Let's say there is a famous baseball player and he wears a shirt a certain way, or he puts his cap on a certain way. You'll find people wearing a shirt and cap that same way. Or if there's a movie star that made a certain style very fashionable, then you'll see people wearing clothing that's similar to that movie star's clothing. Or it could be something, let's say, sports-related. Let's say when MMA started becoming really popular, a lot of people started wearing MMA workout clothing. So it doesn't just have to be, fashion in the sense of some stylish, trendy idea, but it could be something, almost unrelated to fashion that creates the trend, such as MMA. Or let's say people that enjoy skiing, they notice a lot of people wearing their ski hat a certain way. The next thing you see is that other people who don't go skiing, but they like that style, will wear ski hats, and they'll wear the ski hat in the same way that skiers might wear the hat. Or if, let's say, a movie makes a certain, style of clothing very popular, or people, let's say, are concerned about making a political statement. They start wearing clothing that makes a certain political statement, or they want to present an image that they're very concerned with the environment, and there's a style that takes hold among people who are support, helping the environment. As it might be, but there are many different trends. Now, if you want to make money off these fashion trends, the first thing you have to do is you have to observe the trend very carefully. You have to really have a good understanding of what are the parameters of that trend, and who is the demographic that is, wearing that trend. Because with the example of the MMA clothing, I would say that trend appeals to, to most guys and girls, but I would say, let's say, young people, anywhere from teenagers, maybe up to people in the early 50s, but I wouldn't say that that children are interested in MMA clothing. But at the same time, their parents might want to dress them in MMA style clothing, and I don't think senior citizens are going for that style of clothing. So you do need to be aware of who the demographic is for that trend. And now, once you do know what the demographic is, you need to see if the demographic is interested to buy, new clothing. How much will they be willing to spend on clothing for that trend? And where are they buying clothing for that trend? If for some reason they feel that they want to buy that clothing at very high-end boutiques, then you need to have a high-end boutique. But let's say they're looking for vintage style clothing, and according their minds, they feel that they should buy that vintage clothing at thrift stores. Then if you have a very high-end boutique store and you introduce vintage style clothing, it's just you're not going to attract those customers. So you have to understand the demographic, you have to understand what it is they want to buy, why they want to buy it, and how do they want to buy it. Now, as far as getting clothing or accessories or shoes or any item that fits that fashion trend, so look for wholesalers that specialize in that market category, and sometimes you might have to go to a wholesaler who is involved in the actual business that originated that trend. So, for instance, with let's say skiing, you call many different wholesalers that sell winter hats, and they don't have that style of winter hat. So what you might want to do is you might want to call a company that supplies clothing and equipment specifically for skiers, and then set up an account from them, and then buy ski hats from them. Or with MMA clothing, you might call a company that supplies MMA clothing, MMA gear, and buy the clothing from them. Now, what you should do is you should contact the manufacturers that make those items for the industry, and if you can even contact a factory and have the items made for you. You can have either items designed for you, or you can find a company that is producing those designs, who's already producing the clothing, get a license from them that just gives you permission to use your ideas, to use their styles, your patterns, maybe even their brand, and you use it to make clothing yourself. Now, let's say there's a company that's very well known in the MMA field, but they are not making MMA socks with their license name on it. So you might pay them a licensing fee, and then you'll be able to produce socks with your logo. And people who enjoy MMA then are going to be able to buy those socks. Now, I'm not trying to get too focused on any specific example, but what I'm trying to convey to you is that if you want to make money with a fashion trend, you want to try to get the same type of merchandise that is already being sold. You want to match it up to the same customers, so you need to seek those customers out, and then also you need to be able to make sure you're selling it in the way that they want it to be sold. Because imagine if someone was selling, I don't know, a $1,000 bottle of perfume at a thrift store. Now, people might not really believe it's good perfume. They might not be excited to buy it. They might not even go to a thrift store if they don't feel comfortable shopping there. But for instance, if you have a very high-end boutique, sure, that perfume, let's say if it's in style now, because an actress, a very popular actress, uses that perfume, and then she started a trend for girls to use that perfume specifically when they're going to weddings. Let's say there was a movie scene where she applied it before she went to a wedding, and she had a good experience at that wedding. So then, if you have a high-end boutique, sure, that could really match, the expectations of the customers. So the key is when you sell the merchandise, which you're going to be capitalizing on the fashion trend, you need to make sure that you are meeting and matching the expectations that your customers have. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. My website is closeoutexplosion.com. Have a great day.